For decades, manufacturing followed a simple rule. The most efficient company wins. Lower cost, better processes, faster production. But that rule is starting to break because today you can be the most efficient manufacturer in your industry and still lose. This is INDUSTRIQO where we decode what's actually changing in the manufacturing and what it means for the people running real operations. There's a new force shaping the manufacturing, not technology, not labor, not even demand. It's policy. Governments are no longer just influencing the market, they are structuring it, and that changes everything. Now, here's the tension. Most manufacturers are still optimizing for efficiency, but the system they are operating in is being optimized for something else entirely: control, compliance, and national interest. So, the question is, are you playing the right game? Policy is becoming enforcement, not suggestion. A new push in the US Senate is tightening Buy America compliance rules. This affects infrastructure, transportation, and federally funded projects. This is the shift. Policy is no longer a background factor, it's becoming a gatekeeper. You don't just compete on capability anymore, you compete on eligibility. What does this change? Even if you are the best supplier, if you don't meet compliance requirements, you are not even in the game. So, why should you care? Because demand is increasingly policy driven. What happens next? Most sectors will move in this direction: defense, energy, infrastructure, advanced manufacturing. The best manufacturer doesn't mean the eligible one does. Capital is flowing where policy tells it to. US Steel is investing $1.9 billion into a new direct reduced iron plant in Arkansas. This is one of the first of its kind in the US. This isn't just a business decision, it's a policy aligned investment. Governments are incentivizing domestic production and the capital is following. So, what does this change? Investment decisions are no longer purely ROI driven, they are risk adjusted against policy direction. Why should you care? Because where you build matters more, and what you produce matters more. How it aligns with national priorities matters more. What happens next? Funding, subsidies, and partnership will cluster around aligned players. So, capital doesn't chase efficiency anymore, it chases certainty. Global companies are repositioning fast. In a single month, Siemens opens a US facility, Diageo expands production, and Oxbow launches operations. So these are not isolated expansions, these are strategic relocations. Companies are restructuring the footprint not for cost optimization, but for market access and compliance. So what does this change? Your location strategy becomes a competitive advantage. Why should you care? Because customers, especially large buyers, will increasingly prefer suppliers that are locally compliant, politically aligned, and moreover, logistically secure. So what happens next? Global supply chains don't disappear, but they become regionally segmented. But here's where it gets uncomfortable. Efficiency is rising, but it's not enough. Manufacturing is expanding again, but at the same time, prices are rising, tariffs are impacting costs, and margins are under pressure. This exposes the reality. You can optimize operations all you want, but if the system itself is changing, efficiency has diminishing returns. So what does this change? Operational excellence alone will not protect you. So why should you care? Because cost advantages can be neutralized by tariffs, supply chains can be disturbed by policy, access can be restricted by regulations. What happens next? The gap widens between efficient manufacturers and strategically positioned manufacturers. Efficiency is becoming a baseline, not a differentiator. Now let's connect all of this. So policy is tightening access, capital is aligning with government direction, companies are relocating to stay eligible, and efficiency is losing its edge. This is not a temporary shift, this is a new rulebook. Manufacturing success is no longer defined by how well you produce, but by where you operate, what rules you align with, and whether you are allowed to compete. If a major contract in your industry became policy restricted tomorrow, would your business qualify or be excluded? Now let's see the impact of all of this. First one is start tracking policy like you track your costs, because it will impact revenue just as directly. Second one is reevaluate your positioning, not just what do we make, but where do we fit in the system. And third one is build your optionality, geography, sourcing, partnerships. Flexibility will become a competitive advantage. If you want more analysis like this, not just random insights, but what they actually mean, please subscribe to the INDUSTRIQO. If you are a manufacturer trying to stay competitive in this shifting landscape, we help companies position themselves to attract the right buyers, especially as demand becomes more selective and policy driven. Link in the description. So manufacturing isn't just becoming more advanced, it's becoming more selective, more structured, and more controlled. And in this new system, it's not the best buyer manufacturer who wins, it's the one the system is built to support.